Good evening. So I would like to make a motion to start the license board meeting for December 18th at 5:16 p.m. Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. So with all three commissioners present, we do not need to do a roll call. And also, just a little housekeeping. If someone needs to speak, we want you to come forward, one person at a time, or if you're together, you can come up together. But while someone else is speaking, while someone is speaking, if someone else in the audience needs to speak, then you can raise your hand and come up. Do not interrupt. Do not have conversations with each other. People speaking are speaking to the license board and we're speaking to them. So there's no I'm just saying it's a large crowd. I don't know if something's gonna get unruly or anything, but there's no conversations between parties about things or anything like that. I want it to just be a very organized, well-run meeting and everyone to kind of have their manners with them. So first item on the agenda is going to be a hearing. So we'd like to make a motion to open a hearing for a transfer of all alcohol on-premise license for Wyckoff Golf Inc. Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. All three commissioners present have voted in favor. So so what we'll do first is we have the hearing, we close the hearing, and then we vote. So, do you have anything to add? Let's start? Okay, so this is gonna be a transfer of ownership for an all alcohol on-premise license for Wyckoff Golf Inc. And what's the transfer to?
So it's Wyckoff Country Club now, and it's gonna be transferred over to Wyckoff Golf Inc.
Okay. So, who from the public would like to speak about this, or the representatives for this? And then just state your name, because it's gonna be recorded and get converted into minutes. And also, this is public, so.
Okay, great. My name's John Drost. I'm an attorney for Wyckoff Golf Inc. I'm an attorney with Fitzgerald Law. And we're here in front of the board to present this transfer of license. My client, Wyckoff Golf Inc., is purchasing the assets from the current Wyckoff Country Club with a plan of just keeping it as a golf club, putting in some improvements on the course and building. And I'm here with the majority shareholder, Cesar Ruiz, who's the owner, and a proposed new manager, Eric Maldonado. We are hoping to get approval here and the ABCC in Boston and be able to operate, get ready for golf season, which is always an important date for the current members and for our clients that we get going.
Great, thank you. Anyone else want to speak from the public on this? Okay, I do want to read, I'm not going to read the whole thing into the record. We got a very long email today from a neighbor. It's about 5 pages. I don't think it's necessary to read into the record, but I think we should. I think it's really long.
Oh, God, no.
Okay.
More to the point, is the person who sent that to us here today present?
No.
Okay. I'm struggling somewhat to see how contents of that letter are in any conceivable way relevant to the public hearing that we're listening to right now.
I agree with you, but I just thought it was important we mention it.
Okay.
Because that's an abutter opposed to the transfer. That's what the email.
It's framed in that context.
Right. Well, I don't think it's framed in that context, but when the gentleman called, that was the context of it. He wasn't for the transfer. It was against it.
But it was basically an email of multiple emails, one sent on to Governor Maura Healey, and some others are kind of all attached together. There was something to her, right, Alex?
Yeah, there was a lot of people attached to that email.
And so I don't feel it necessary to read it into the public record, but we're gonna make it available. Had the person come and wanted to speak out, that would be fine, but if someone sends me a book, I'm not gonna read the book, just because they say it has to do with something. So that's kind of my point is, if it was short enough, we could read it quick, but it will be attached to this meeting, and Alex can make that available to anyone that wants to hear it.
I want a copy.
Okay,
Is there anyone on Zoom that,
Yeah.
is there anyone on Zoom that would like to speak for or against the transfer of this license? And I just want everyone, so it's clear, the transfer that's happening today, there's nothing changing on the license except the ownership. So, the space that's licensed is within the golf club, that's whatever was licensed now to serve alcohol is what's licensed after this transfer. In the future, if there's a change, that has to come before us as a change. For, as of today, all the license board is seeing is a transfer of ownership with no changes.
The business.
To the business.
Correct.
It's just a transfer, and I just want everyone in the public to be clear. As far as the license board is concerned, this is just a transfer from one owner to another with no changes in the business itself.
okay. Within the context of the hearing, I'm just interested, what do we think the time frame is for turnaround after we, presuming we approve this, when it gets to the ABCC?
So I'm still waiting for paperwork, and when I receive that paperwork, I can submit to the state.
Okay,
So it all depends on when I receive the paperwork. Next week I'm on vacation, so if I don't get it this week, it won't happen until the new year.
okay, and what, just in past experience, what have we seen for time frame?
4 to 6 weeks. If the ABCC is satisfied with the application.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so actually, do have a question, that would put us somewhere near mid-February.
I was thinking early to mid-February, assume everything goes fine, and the paperwork, as you mentioned, it's a Department of Revenue certificate that the sellers are putting together, and I got confirmation today that it's almost complete, and we should have it shortly. So we'll get that into you as soon as possible.
For the sake of folks who, may have catered the space or have anything like that, and in the interest of full disclosure, there's actually an event scheduled that's near and dear to my heart, coming up in March. This would, even if the transfer took place within that window of time, we wouldn't even see the difference, right?
Everything would stay the same.
Good, I think that's very comforting to existing customers. So thanks.
Before we close the hearing, does anyone have anything to add? No? Okay, so I wanna make a motion to close the hearing for the transfer of all alcohol on premise license for White House Golf Inc. I don't know, it's 5:24 PM, I don't think I need to see that. Can I get a second?
Good second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved, all 3 commissioners have voted in favor, and just so you understand, we have to do the hearing, and then we vote on it.
Right.
So now we're back into our regular meeting, and the first item on the agenda is the transfer of an all alcohol on-premise license to White House Golf Inc., 233 Easthampton Road.
So sorry, before you guys go, on the back of the agenda, there's, the description of the business, again, stating it's gonna stay the same, and the manager application, if you guys wanted to ask any questions.
Oh, so we do typically like to ask what the experience of the manager is?
Sure. We have Eric Maldonado.
Sure.
My name is Eric Maldonado. Was the bar manager on record for the club alumni in Springfield, Mass. Which George Perez from Puerto Rico Bakery was owner. I don't remember, I wrote down the dates, I can't remember them off the top of my head. But I was there, and also I've been in the nightclubs, at Aquarius nightclub as a security since I was 17. Worked with Eduardo Colon at the Hippodrome as assistant manager, and then I was manager for the beer garden at 1600 Main Street for Herbie Flores.
And, pardon me, you've had safe serve training and.
Serve Safe, yeah, I'm Serve Safe certified manager trained. I still have that. I just renewed it right now, so it's current for the next 5 years. And also the tip certification will be, I just have to recertify myself.
Great, thank you. Great, thank you.
Just the paperwork that needs to be.
What's outstanding?
2 documents, but the attorney and I have been well, somebody from Fisher as well, I don't know, if you guys are a big team.
Yeah.
I've been communicating with the lawyer, so we're kind of on the same page, we communicate a lot. So he knows 2 forms before I can submit to the state.
Okay, so it won't get submitted to the state until those forms are in.
Yeah, we understand.
So we don't need to put any contingency on the bill.
I don't think so.
Good, I'll move to approve.
All right, second that, all those in favor?
Aye.
So moved, all 3 commissioners present voted in favor of this transfer, from White House Country Club to White House Golf Inc. Thank you for coming in, good luck.
Thank you so much.
Next, we have a new seasonal all alcohol license, this is a continuing, this is 66 Corporation, 26 Jackson Street, continued from September 4th, October 2nd, November 6th, and December 4th.
Yeah, so
And
I'm not sure how, if you guys wanna continue to have this item on the agenda, but there's no update. They have not went into the building, there has not been a zone change, they have not been into the Board of Health, they have not seen the fire department. I have not even heard from them since the November meeting. I'm sorry, since the October, because they didn't show up to the November meeting. So I don't know.
I would move to take it off the agenda and let them start the process, start it over, because I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 meetings.
But it seems like the deal was kind of gone and.
I agree with you.
Yeah, they can come and tell us otherwise, if that's the case.
So motion to not continue this, but to remove it from our agenda, and it can come back on when the potential licensee recontacts the license board.
Second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. All 3 commissioners present have voted to remove this from our agenda. Next, we have 2025 on-premise alcohol license renewals. A lot of these were continued one at a time,
Nope, 1 through 7 together.
1 through 7, okay. So we have 110 Grill, 50 Holyoke Street, continued from December 4th. Cayey Bar, 273 Main Street, continued from December 4th. D Hotel and Suites, Inc., so all these are continued from December 4th, I'll just say that. D Hotel and Suites, 1 Country Club Road. Delaney Restaurant, Inc., 1 Country Club Road. Cracker Barrel, 227 Whiting Farms Road. Bamboo House, 2223 Northampton Street. And Holyoke Knights of Columbus, 250 Westfield Road.
So these items were continued because they didn't have an inspection, but, as of today, they all have CMIs.
Great.
So that's the only thing, right?
That's the only thing.
Make a motion to approve.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. All 3 commissioners present have voted in favor of approving these on-premise alcohol license renewals. Okay, and now
8 by itself.
8 by itself. So next we have Mill One Event Space, 110 Lyman Street, continued from December 4th.
They still don't have a CMI.
Oh, you know what? I accidentally skipped one.
Okay.
So let's go back. Sorry about that. So next one was actually Pilsudski Park.
No, I said 1 through 7.
Pilsudski is number 8.
So-
Pilsudski's number 8.
Right. So that's the one you're on is number 8.
Right, he read number 9.
I read number 9.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so that's right. Pilsudski Park, 200 Country Road. This is continued from December 4th.
They don't have a CMI.
Okay. There's, my perception is there's a large number of licensees without,
No, not
certificate.
anymore. It's not a large number no more.
But there was.
There was.
So it seems like maybe there was a backlog. So,
I'm confident that that's the case.
yeah, and I like, it happens sometimes.
There's only 3 right now. Without CMI.
Yeah, we do, we're good.
They work really hard.
So our first meeting is gonna be late, right? The 7th?
If you guys can approve contingent, because technically anything past November needs a new application,
I am all about that.
so.
I think the contingent is fair for this year, given the special situation that we did have a lot. If we didn't have that situation, I would be considering something different, but I think it's fair.
Yeah.
And it's not gonna hurt anyone to approve the contingent.
So approving contingent upon, completion of a certificate of inspection or a report of status by the next meeting.
Second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. All 3 commissioners present have voted in favor to approve this. Okay.
And the
Next,
9 by
we
12.
have Number 9, Mill One Event Space, 110 Lyman Street.
They were continuing for a C of I, but they have one.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. All 3 commissioners present have voted in favor. El Paraiso Colombiano, 351 High Street.
They don't have a C of I.
Same situation. Move to, how do we frame it?
Approval contingency.
Move to approve with a contingency, that they obtain a C of I or, present the situation at the next meeting.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. All 3 commissioners present have voted in favor.
And then you can do 11 through 17.
11 through 17, okay. So the only one that hasn't continued is the first one, HomeWood Suites, 375 Whitney Avenue. That's continued from December 4th. The rest are not continued.
Right, they just applied, they submitted their paperwork lately.
Okay. Next, we have Paper City Post, 325 American Legion, 22 Sycamore Street, Echo, 264 to 268 Ray Street, Tano Restaurant, 548 South Street, La Copa, 447 Main Street, Fame, 386 Dwight Street, Hamels Catering, Inc., 555 Northampton Street.
Everything's in for them.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. All 3 commissioners present have voted in favor to approve these on-premise alcohol license renewals. And now, next,
18 and 19 are separate.
okay, so next we have Red Robin, 27 Holyoke Street.
So they renewed a little bit past the due date, but they just applied for an inspection yesterday. So I don't know when they're gonna go get inspected, because this is a different scenario from the rest of the applicants that are on the agenda. They applied
Right.
late,
And so the difference is the building department hadn't heard about them until like just a
yes,
few days ago.
yes.
Even so, I think we extend the same courtesy, but my sense is they very likely won't have a certificate of inspection by the next meeting because that backlog exists.
So before you make your motion, I would go to table this because the situation is they applied late. And I don't feel we should offer them the same courtesy that we're offering to the other licensees, and that's my opinion.
Okay, so the reason I'm gonna go ahead and make the motion anyway, and the reason I'd ask you to reconsider that is to think of the waitress staff, to think of the back kitchen and everyone else. Take the ability to sell liquor in a restaurant like Red Robin, which is a good sized restaurant. I think shifts are gonna get closed and people's livelihoods are gonna be affected. And I'm just not comfortable penalizing everyone who works for Red Robin because somebody made an error they shouldn't have made.
So that aside, as of January 1st, if they don't have a C of I,
Yeah,
they
we
can't
have-
be open. They're gonna be shut down.
Exactly.
So it has nothing to do with alcohol at this point. Not serving alcohol is one thing, but not having a C of I, you're gonna get shut down. So it's like bigger than us. That's a law from the building department, and she is enforcing that for 2025. I could say that. So we can still approve contingent, but it doesn't mean that come January 1st, that it's a guarantee they will be open unless.
That portion is not done by the department,
Right.
it's still gonna be, even
Right.
though that we approve, it's still gonna be done.
Well,
Right.
okay, well then, I guess, it is the 18th. The first has several working days in front of it.
Mhm.
I hope they have the triage and the respect for working people in that business to try to make sure that's an outcome that doesn't happen. And with that, I will make the motion to approve contingent upon the delivery of certificate of inspection or a explanation by the next meeting.
I gotta think for a minute.
Thinking that they should do that, it has to be.
I mean, in reality, it's a family restaurant, so I know they serve alcohol, but I don't think it's gonna kill their business.
So, since you're thinking, if they do get their C of I prior to the new year, I can't issue a license if you guys don't approve contingent. So then it will be more on us at that point than on anybody else. Not saying anything, I'm just.
But I know, I know, I also know they're gonna vote, it's gonna get approved, whatever my vote is.
I appreciate that.
So, all right, so you made the motion to approve. I'm gonna go with it this time. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So moved. All three commissioners have voted in favor. But I would like to have them come in.
I think that's totally fair.
That's what I was gonna follow up to,
So,
either a
yeah,
letter to
I would
that,
like
so we can stress
Right.
the importance of this particular issue for the following year.
That I'm on board with 100%.
Okay, great.
Listen, we stress, this is an every year thing. We
Yeah.
stress it every year. We send letters as early as August. Applicants ignore it and ignore it and ignore it until their liquor license is on the line, and now it's our fault. Now we have to rush. I don't know what else more we can do for, to be, we're doing everything we can to make sure businesses are not getting closed down and getting their inspection. If they don't apply, there's nothing we can do. Like, it's really out of our hands.
Yeah, at this point in time, because we approve without condition, contingency. If that doesn't follow through with the other requirement, then it's totally out of our hands, and their business will still be shut down.
That's right. And again, I think the value in that is it can be extremely memorable and attention getting to just have to make the drive down here, and the dialogue can sometimes be that powerful sort of
You're right.
notification to them that we really mean it.
Right. Number 19.
Great. And next we have Gateway City Arts, 92 to 114 Race Street.
So Gateway City Arts is inspected. The only thing is there's no owners. Transfer got denied. So technically, this is a pocket license 2025. Because until the transfer doesn't go through, the new owners are not allowed to use the license.
But we still have to approve it. in order
Correct.
For it to be in a pocket status.
Correct.
Status, yeah.
So,
We approve it into a pocket status.
correct.
Okay, so motion is to approve this into a pocket state, which means the owners are not allowed to serve alcohol.
Right.
Until they come before us.
And so, no, they were already approved, locally, paperwork got sent to the state denied it. Because you're not allowed to lease a license, we told them that, and the state denied it. So they have to revamp their application, figure it out, on how they're gonna submit the new transfer, but they don't have to come in front of us again.
They don't have to come in front of
No,
us.
so let's say the transfer gets approved tomorrow, I can issue them a license. So it's a pocket state until the state approves the transfer.
Got it, okay.
And just because it's kind of a live issue with bringing a new pocket license in, would January or February be a good time for us to just kind of review the status of all the outstanding ones? Because I think keeping a close eye on what's going on with them, making sure that, I want to know what's happening when it does.
Okay, so motion was to approve it into a pocket state, and now we understand they don't need to come back before us. They will need to submit to the state, and once that is approved, or if it's approved, then the transfer happens.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So
And
moved.
if the transfer doesn't happen by February, invite them in,
Yeah,
or just give you an
or
update.
it's just an update, and we can take care of all, just kind of look at where we're at with all. So we just be more efficient.
Okay.
There's 3 late renewals that came in within this last week. So the agenda gets posted Monday, so they didn't make it on the agenda. I don't know if you guys want to take these up, but there's one applicant that is present, and there's actually 2. There's one in person and one via Zoom.
Okay, so I would like to make a motion that we, because it's not on the agenda, we usually take these at the end. But since we're in our alcohol renewal, that we take these out of, we add these into the agenda order.
Yeah, so I'll second the motion.
As late files.
Yeah.
As late files, yeah.
Okay,
So we have Gabriel Reyes here from City Lounge, 348 through 352 High Street. Paperwork is in, the only, he does have a C of I got confirmation today. He just hasn't submitted a payment.
so.
If you wanna come up.
How you doing, guys? My name is Gabriel Reyes, owner of City Sports Bar Lounge. The reason why the license came in late was we were having financial difficulties, so we were able to scrape up some money. I brought in that, so hopefully if you guys give me the chance, I can come up with the money for the payment for the license. I have to take care of a lot of other things, and that's the situation.
Absolutely. So that would be a contingent.
Yep, or, you guys can extend the license for 90 days, give them a, 90-day grace period, because if there's approved contingent to payment, and the payment is not paid by January 1st, that means he also doesn't get to open the business.
Yeah, so we don't want to do that.
Right.
Yeah, that's bad. Thank you.
So should we approve it to our a week beyond our March meeting or something like that?
I like that. Yeah,
And we go a week beyond our meeting in case something happens and the meeting doesn't happen. So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna approve this, we're gonna approve your license to like March, I'll say March 15th, make it easy. Which means you need to get the payment in
Oh, that's more than enough.
before that. So that's what we're giving you. We're not giving you till the end of the year, we're giving you till March 15th to get the payment into Alex.
Sounds good.
So your business doesn't close?
Yeah, okay.
just so I'm clear, had you come in and said, listen, I don't have $1,000, but I have the paperwork done, would you have accepted that?
And I did,
Right, but
I did.
today, yeah, I would
Well,
just,
my other financials, like the property taxes that I'm not used to dealing with.
Yeah.
So it's still under the owner,
right,
so I'm not receiving those letters in.
right,
So I never dealt with property taxes, so according to the new lease I signed,
that 1,000% fair.
Yeah.
It's just, to make things less burdensome for Alex, it's just, even if you're in a situation like that, putting the application forward so it's on the list with everybody else for the first December meeting is a much better situation for us. Well, I'm sure we would have either brought you back to tonight or extended the same courtesy then, but it's more helpful for us clerically, just communicate.
It's a better culture.
So motion to approve with the license being, set, for 2.5 months into March 15th. Which, because it's contingent upon, and then at that point, we'll need a payment, so we're approving the license, so it's not contingent, but we're requiring it, we're only approving it until March 15th, at which time we'll have to then extend it for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Right.
And the thought behind this is by March 15th, the payment will be in, and as soon as the payment comes in, it'll be on our agenda to approve for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
So what we're doing is we're approving it till March 15th, but then it'll have to come before us again, and then we approve it for the rest of the year.
Gotcha.
But you have till March 15th to get the payment in, and hopefully you do it sooner than that. And our meeting with that will be in the beginning of the month.
March 5th.
So,
First Wednesday.
yeah, so we need to be invited, really by then. So that's my motion. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. All three commissioners voted in favor. Good luck.
The other one is, Flat Pie doing business as Alofa, 130 Ray Street. Marco is on via Zoom. I received the paperwork, I believe yesterday, so they are closed. They're still doing renovations. I asked him to come because he was late and also because this was a transfer of license. And when we approved it, it would had a different opening and it's taking longer than normal, so I just told him to come and speak with the board, because technically it's a non-active license for like 3 years now.
I'll say update.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, so basically, we had purchased the license, it's probably now 2 years ago, simply because the opportunity presented itself. We thought we would be open sooner, but I'm not sure if you've seen the construction that's going on. It's right on the corner of Race Street and Middle Street, between Gateway and the Cubit. It's just taken longer than we expected, and there's been some cost overruns, but we are very close to finishing. The second floor, which is almost complete, and the tenant's going to be moving in January. The main floor, which is the restaurant and the patio, will probably be completed in March. And at that point, then we'll begin the process of staffing and activating the license and getting all the permits, for the restaurant. Right now, the focus is simply on getting the certificate of occupancy and finishing the construction.
Yeah, absolutely. And I personally observed, because I drive by that area frequently, that there has certainly been lots of signs of active work going on over the course of the entire last several months and well before that. So all of that tracks. So should we?
Please, in the pockets, take it. And should we
Well,
just
it's
put
been in a
it,
pocket state.
should we just, what?
It's been in a pocket state.
Okay, so it's just an approval right now, because it has, in order for it to open, it has to come out of the pocket state.
So I move to approve on that basis, and that is that for the whole year, or is that, do we need to check, do we want to shorten it to check in at some point?
I think it still be the whole
So-
year, like the prior 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
Hopefully
know.
things
So
will-
what, Marco, if things aren't done, could you check them with us by our April meeting?
Yes, I can do that.
Okay,
Yeah, perfect, great, okay, good. Move to, yeah, so I
Okay.
move to,
Second that.
all those in favor?
Aye.
So moved, all three commissioners present and voted to approve. And then you have one more?
Yep, the last one is American Legion Post 351. They have not, they have been in the process of an inspection, but they do not have a past inspection because they're currently putting a sprinkler system in. They're doing a whole lot of work. Also, they're late because there was a change of directors and secretaries because they're a nonprofit veterans club. And the new director had no knowledge, and so he got my final notice and was like kind of coming in and freaking out. And I told him like, I will do my best to, get it approved. But that's why it was late, because there's no people in charge.
Can we put it, since it's not open?
No, they're open.
Oh.
They don't have a past inspection.
Oh, I
so
see.
they're a similar
It's
situation.
still working on
Yeah.
their controls.
So we approved contingent until they get a CMI.
And they're probably looking at the same sort of situation, it better happen by the end of the year. If
Right,
there's any way for that to possibly happen, or they'd be closed outside of our purview.
exactly.
Okay, so I think we see the nature of the drill there. And with that being the case, I would certainly extend that grace to them, move to approve contingent, or not. What do we do? It's contingent approval, based on the obtaining a C of I or an explanation to us at the
Right.
January meeting.
And they need that certificate of inspection before you can send it in.
Oh,
So
yeah. I
if
need
they
a
don't
copy
have it in
before-
January, they could lose the license.
No, because we're approving it contingent. They just can't open January 1st. Their business will be closed.
Okay, but the license gets sent in,
Correct.
but you won't issue the license. Okay,
Right.
Okay, did you say no?
No, I would second that, yes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved, all three commissioners voted in favor. So did you understand that? What?
Are you here for paper? I mean,
No.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So if I may, so I had been reached out to earlier today, but it was on very short notice. A couple of voicemails have just suggested to Orla Mitchell that she'd be here. This is Mrs. Mitchell's pub. They were not able to submit because they showed up today. I said, bring your paperwork and come in and see us. What I'd like to do is consider that a matter that's not reasonably anticipated by the chair, that we take it out of order and just hear what's going on and see if there's anything we can do.
Second that.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
So step up and tell us what's going on.
Yeah, so, my name is Orla Mitchell, and I'm a co-owner of Mitchell's Public House here in Holyoke. This is their first time reviewing it, so it was done for us by the seller when we opened in March. So we obviously, overestimated all the steps that had to be done, and we kind of were misinformed, or not misinformed, but miscommunicated. We thought that we couldn't submit all the paperwork until we had the certificate of inspection, which we now know that we could have submitted some of the paperwork. So basically, our issue is that we didn't know, we actually were proactive, Alex, since we got the letter, but we couldn't figure out who was monitoring the business for the fire alarm. So it's taking us this long to try and figure that out. And we knew somebody was monitoring it because there was an issue and the fire department did come, but we just couldn't figure out who. We had permits. We've been in contact with the building department. They're aware of all this. And as soon as we get that, then they're coming to do the certificate of inspection. We have everything else done. Our taxes are up to date and everything. It's just that we just literally this week found out who is actually monitoring the building. So we have someone coming this week to actually do the fire inspection. That's the last step for us to get the other inspection from the building department.
Yeah.
And I apologize, and obviously this is our first time, so it's been a lot since we took over the building, so we're learning with the liquor license and owning a building, it's a lot, and I promise we'll do better in the future. I mean, we've been back and forth, like trying to figure out, Cintas said they weren't monitoring it, we checked with, we've been, like you do, our calls are recorded, there's been numerous calls with the fire department trying to figure out who actually is monitoring the building, which is what the hell is up. And we started this process in October, at the beginning of October, and end of September, October.
Yeah, I spoke with John, which I'm assuming is your
Husband, yes,
Yep,
which I might be taking this over from in the future.
yep, I know he told me the same thing, how this is your first renewal, but I'm like, you must have not remembered, but this is actually the second renewal because this license was transferred the year prior. You guys just didn't open until March,
Yeah.
but it is the second renewal, but that aside,
The lawyers did that one.
they haven't applied for an inspection. Like, there's no paperwork inside the building department, and I understand they're waiting for reports and testing in order to submit the paperwork, but all this paperwork, like, was sent out as early as August, and this is what I mean is, we can be as proactive as we want as early as August, and if they don't respond to us, they're gonna see themselves in kind of this situation.
So without the certificate of inspection by the end of the year, you won't be able to actually be open, just so you know.
We've had conversations with Mrs. Hogan, correct? Yeah, we've been in contact with her.
Right, and John told me that, but I guess you guys have been talking to the building department, but nothing's happening with the building department. So I explained to John until a full complete application, meaning it's the application and the required reports with the payment. And so that doesn't get submitted into the building office, you're not even looking at an inspection.
Oh, we just kind of presumed, she said just call when you're ready for the inspection once you get the fire.
Okay, so the much more onerous consequence, though, would be to not accept this and get the process rolling, and then they've got to go to the ABCC for the rejuvenation of the license, which would be several weeks.
And I said that to John today, because I told him, I'm like, it's not only the license, it's, it's a C of I, so either way, as of January 1st, if nothing happens, even if we approve the liquor license today, if you don't have the C of I, you're not gonna be open January 1st, and I think applicants, businesses don't understand that applicants always freak out, oh, the liquor license, and it's like, yeah, okay, you won't serve alcohol, but if you don't have a C of I, you won't be open for business.
Right.
Which is bigger for me. You cannot serve alcohol for a week or two, but at least continue to sell your food. Now, your business being completely shut down is beyond us. So I did send John the new license application. I did forward him, everything that I had. He asked me for like the previous application so he can kind of copy it. And I issued all that to him. These are not my rules. If you don't sign within the month of November, it's considered, that's a state law. It's not me.
So,
I have everything here, including the payment.
so as of yet, though, you haven't had an application put into the building department yet? Just.
That would have to follow this document, right?
Yes, that we're waiting for the fire alarm test.
So what I'd like to do, because what I think would be extremely unfortunate is putting them through the process with the ABCC on top of all of this, because you'd have both problems at that point in time. And that could be a lengthy lack of access to the alcohol license. So if we were to simply accept this tonight, understanding perfect, and with the same contingency, understanding perfectly well that you will probably be here in January explaining to us where you're at, rather than having a C of I, we can at least sort that out and get you back where you should be, and hopefully consider all this time, trouble, and cost tuition that you've learned, and it will never happen.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. You have my words, yeah. Because now I understand it.
Now, could she go down to the building department tomorrow though with an application, because there's no application submitted?
Yeah.
If I'm hearing this correctly, it gets forwarded after it's been submitted to Alex. Am I hearing that right?
No.
So this process starts as early as August. The C of Is expire October 31st. So this building is completely different from the license board. They have to go get their inspection done, and then normally by November 1st, the inspection should be done, the C of I, so when they're renewing, they're submitting everything, including the C of I. So there's no problems, but they haven't even, they're not on the list for an inspection at all.
So, but what I'm understanding is they have been in contact with the fire department on numerous occasions. They've been in contact with at least Marie Hogan, who
Yeah.
should have been able to say to them, we'll get this application in anyway, so we can, and none of that happened.
But, right, and you're correct. I don't know if they told them not to submit or to submit, but even if she submits an application with a payment, the application won't go nowhere. It's still on hold. She's not getting an inspection until the other reports are submitted.
Which is
Which is the sprinkler report, the fire alarm, it's like, in the 90-minute load test, there's 3 reports that need to get submitted with the application. So yeah, she can go down tomorrow and fill out an application and a payment, it's still not going anywhere.
Right, but you haven't worked with the fire department, you've identified who you're monitoring is,
Yes.
you have your other reports ready to go.
Mhm.
I think the best we can do is just take care of our end of it and hope that the building department has the sort of courtesy and grace that I think we're capable of.
And that's fine, I want her to be clear leaving here what she needs to do,
Yeah,
like
thank
as of tomorrow.
Yes.
And I think you need to go to the, if you say now you've straightened out with the fire, with the alarm company.
Yeah.
You have that straightened out. Is
She needs
it
to bring
time
that
to go
bill
to the building department
She
to
needs
put
to
the
bring that bill to
application
the
in?
department by tomorrow.
Absolutely, yeah, but I think they open at 8:30.
Okay.
And that was what I wanted to emphasize, is that,
Good.
what does she do tomorrow?
Right. Get over it.
Yeah.
Okay.
First thing.
So with that, I would move to accept the documentation, and this is contingent on review of the documentation and the receipt of the C of I by the January meeting, or an explanation of what's happening at the January.
Okay. And so, just so you're aware, if there is some kind of problem with your documentation that Alex can't submit it, I guess as of January 1st, even if they got the certificate of
can't
inspection, they can't serve alcohol.
Can't serve anything.
They can't even.
Not just
open-
serve, it-
Well, I mean, I said if they got the certificate of inspection,
Right.
but there's,
it's just, that doesn't seem like.
No, only because, again, and it's nothing, I just wanna make sure I'm very clear, because these are public meetings and people do listen to them. For the other applicants, it was a different case scenario. They submitted paperwork, work on time, the building department got short-staffed, so Leslie had to hustle within this week to make sure those, people who did submit on time were
Oh, yeah, no, getting in line.
for
behind them.
people who are applying late, I don't, from my understanding, I wouldn't say on the bottom of the list, but the priority is the people who have submitted and kind of got, missed
Yeah.
within the scope, so.
Yeah, and that's beyond our control.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
you may be closed for a week or so in January without a certificate of inspection.
Okay.
Is that just so it's,
Yeah, just as a heads up.
just so it's
And we
clear?
don't enforce that, that's like, strictly the building department, like, we don't enforce, it's just the law, that's.
That's
just
that.
the
So
law.
before the end of the year. Okay,
So I would get to the building department
tomorrow
tomorrow morning.
morning, yes.
Like minutes counting.
Mhm.
So the motion is,
Motion is to accept the documentation, approve it contingent upon its being reviewed for completeness and for, upset receipt of the seal.
Second that.
all those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. All 3 commissioners voted in favor to accept the application.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
and that's what I wanted to emphasize, we really need to get to the building department.
First thing.
And before we go off the topic of licenses, Alex, are there any people we haven't heard from or haven't seen who are going to the ABCC?
That's my next,
Am I?
that's my
You're all
next.
set.
Thank you.
Take care, good luck.
Thank you.
Here's well.
And let me go get my list. Sorry, I missed that, but I do got a list. Yeah.
And they've got a huge problem now because we're not coming back. That's a done deal.
So I wanna take out of, while Alex is on,
Yeah, sure.
I wanna take out of order just a business matter not reasonably anticipated by the chair.
Yeah.
Could we second that?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. So moved. So it has to do with if someone like today, that email that came in.
Yeah.
I don't think Alex needs to send it out to us the day of, it's kind of too late. And so I want to have a discussion with you to see when,
Yeah.
if a document gets submitted, I can't expect we're gonna read it 2 hours before the meeting.
I was surprised when I opened it and
So,
And by the way, I didn't come close to reading it. I got the gist and moved right on. I looked at a picture of a snake, that was done. But I'm kind of used to this in other contexts. We have to do public hearings on regulations of the State Board of Education all the time. And there's a comment period that is open. And it actually remains open, after it closes, if you will. People can continue to submit written things to us, and we will make that a part of the record. And
okay,
so that's all it is a part of the record for what it's worth to anybody who might pick it up and read it. But, it's kind of on a person to make it within the comment period or not, but that's for state regulations. This is not exactly the same thing. Here, we don't have comment periods. We post it and we have a public hearing, so then butters are notified. That's a different process. Nonetheless, certainly if someone said, hey, I'm out of the country, so I'm sending you this written thing, I can't come and speak to you. Why would we not do that? I would treat this the same way. And I think that's something we can do consistently. What I'm just trying to remember is we don't bump into this. And we've done a lot of public hearings in the last several years. I don't recall a time we've received something written at the very last moment, and the person who cared enough to do that doesn't show up. And this is new. That's the novel thing.
it isn't.
Yeah.
So my point was, if Alex receives something sort of last minute, do we want it sent out to us, or do we just want it held till the meeting?
I'd say hold to the meeting. And that way she doesn't have to worry she's got a problem because she forgot to report something on a busy day either.
Well, I'm human, I make mistakes, and that happens, I definitely take responsibility. If that's how you want it, I don't mind. I just try to forward it as soon as I get it to give you guys time to kind
share
of
that.
read it.
Yeah.
So you're kind of ready when you come in, instead of us kind of like,
Okay,
Yeah,
Well,
1,000%.
I guess you can still forward it,
yeah,
but then we'll have a copy for the meeting, sort of like what we did today. I guess that's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, I think we can trust some judgment. If this was something that was actually relevant to a person having a license for the sale of alcohol, probably, it's like, send it anyway if you don't have to, because we may want the heads up.
right.
Thank you. I just did that out of order to
No, yeah.
spend some time. Away.
So there was a few, but I just checked them off. So there's two left, which is Dino's and the warehouse.
And warehouse is in a pocket state,
Technically, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean.
so it's gonna be gone.
They're gonna have to fill out the paperwork, and I don't think that's gonna be possible because the owner of the license passed away and they never really transferred it over. And Dino's, I honestly don't know what's going on
That's kind of shocking.
with them because he
Yeah.
also didn't renew
Yeah.
his seasonal license this year.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he doesn't want the license no more or what's going on.
Well, and then what's extra shocking, he's a fellow
And-
city board member. I mean, it's like, this is not a guy who's like unfamiliar with these halls.
Yeah.
But what can we do?
Yep, and after the December 4th meeting, everybody did get a late notice and they had until the 13th to submit it. Some people did submit it and others submitted it after.
Oh, it's a terrible shame. I hate to see it happen. I mean, Dino, I would imagine we'll just have to go through an onerous process and
The
bear the
late process.
consequences. And, that'll be that. But for the warehouse, how many costs the city a license? Hate to see that happen.
And we don't get it back.
And now we're on to our entertainment license renewals. We have 5 of them.
Yep, you can take them off together.
Okay, so these are 2025 entertainment license renewal, Paper City Post, 325 American Legion, 22 Sycamore Street, Echo, 264 to 268 Race Street, Wacopa, 447 Main Street, Fame, 386 Dwight Street, Hamels Catering Inc., 555 Northampton Street.
Everything's in for those.
the motion was approved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. All three commissioners present have voted in favor. Now we're on to common victular license renewal, and we have 8
And then we can take them off.
all together.
Yeah.
So for common victular license renewal for 2025, we have Onezo Holyoke at the mall, 50 Holyoke Street, Paper City Post, 325 American Legion, 22 Sycamore Street, Echo, 264 to 268 Race Street, Tano Restaurant, 548 South Street, La Copa, 447 Main Street, Fame, 386 Dwight Street, Havel's Catering Inc., 555 Northampton Street, and Red Robin, 27 Holyoke Street.
Everything's in for them.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
And Alex, for people who hold those licenses, does that complete the set? Like everybody's taken care of for this year?
Yeah.
Okay, good enough.
Yeah,
And now we have a 2025 off-market premise alcohol license for Manny Market, 155, 157 Sergeant Street.
everything's in.
Move to approve.
Second that, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. All three commissioners present voted in favor. Now we're up to new business. Any other late files? Now we're up to new business. Approval of the meeting minutes for September 4th, 2024.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. And next topic is new chair. So back in May, I let the mayor know that I was not able to continue as chair due to some time constraints after doing it for 5 or so years. And he, in his email response to me, he asked me if I wanted to be reappointed because it was also my June was my reappointment. And I said yes. Actually, I said yes, but I was not able to continue as chair. And so now it's 6 or so months later, and it's just time for me to kind of, I was hoping, well, I had spoken to Aaron about, speaking to the mayor, not sure what happened, but it's just time for me to now, I would step back. I was appointed by the mayor knowing I would not continue as chair, and so now it's just time for me to step down and let somebody else take a turn. So I guess I'm here to ask if someone wants to step up and be chair.
I've done that before.
I will give
Many
you,
times.
I will give you a cautionary notice. I am an extremely, extremely busy person, probably never been busier in my entire life. Building properties is a very demanding thing. I am on the State Board of Education, which requires me to be in Costas and out of town a lot. We can certainly conduct business by Zoom. How many hours do you devote to this commission outside of our meetings? Because I devote almost zero in the time I've been here.
So it just depends on the month. Sometimes, like this month, really, Alex sends me the minutes, on the Monday, usually in the afternoon, and I guess if you took over as chair, you can speak logistics as to when you wanted to get that. And because she has to publish it by the afternoon. So there's like a 2-hour window when she sends me the minutes, when she sends me the agenda, that I need to get back to her and approve it. But then just depending on the issues that come up. There's been some times where we've had an issue and there's all these other offices in the city having emails go back and forth and we're trying to figure something out. And then other months, not much. So it's a really, the answer is, it depends on the month.
Okay. Could I ask you to hold tight for the January meeting?
Yes.
And during the January meeting, I'm going to reach out to Mayor Garcia. I just want to have an interview with him about this.
Okay, yeah, I was planning on continuing to January. I wasn't stopping you today.
Okay. I think he and I should meet. We should just have a very serious conversation about what to expect from me if I'm going to take on the responsibility. I would take any public service responsibility with the utmost seriousness, but I also have a very strong feeling I'm at risk of overextending myself here. It could have some bad consequences. So, let me go check. Let me go talk.
Great. And then, and thank you. And then next we have matters not reasonably anticipated by the chair.
You already covered that.
And, well, I did the one item. But if there are any,
Yeah, I did.
are there any other items?
No, but I am on vacation next week, so I'm very busy printing out licenses, so, whoever does not get me their CFI by Friday, I don't know what to tell them because I am off next week.
And I think that's common now, a lot of people.
I am out
I'm
of
off next
here.
week too.
Yeah, I told people I'm out next week and, just like for the transfer, you gotta get it to me this week, or now you have to wait till January. I'm not coming in I'm sorry. I need a break. But that's it.
We start these months in advance, so.
The word's out in a public meeting right now.
Yeah.
Fair as can be.
Okay, so with that, our next meeting is scheduled for January 8th.
Because the first Wednesday is January 1st, and we're
First.
closed.
Yes, and that will be here.
I already booked the room.
Oh, great.
Mhm.
Are you able to pre-book out the
Yeah,
room?
which I normally do is when we have second meetings. It's tricky because, and now we're interrupting somebody else's, meeting, but they didn't, meet today, they canceled their meeting, so which became the room available.
And I know we're really set to have 2 meetings for, the road race day,
Yeah.
road race parade weekend, and
Yeah.
for, our alcohol renewal season in December.
Yeah,
So,
and, Aaron suggested, because when I worked for conservation, he did it, kind of pre-date all of our meetings, like kind of put it on, the website so people are aware, and then, obviously it's subject to change, anything can happen, but kind of so everybody already knows, including us, when all the meetings are gonna be.
Good.
So if you guys are okay with that, I could work on that in the new year.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
great, thanks. So with that, I want to make a motion to close our license board meeting, for Wednesday, December 18th at 6:12 PM. Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved.